To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
And that was Mayor Jacob Frey reacting to this, a woman shot and killed by an ICE officer in Minneapolis.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God! What the f? What the f? You just what the f did you do?
At that very moment, there were several witnesses along Portland Street. They were horrified.
Dude, what the f? Dude, you did a murder for what?
You did that murder for what? Yes, eyewitnesses immediately called it murder. Within seconds, as calls went out to police and EMTs, a medical doctor stepped forward to try and help. ICE agents blocked him.
Can I go check a pulse?
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
I don't care. We understand. We got EMS coming. I get it. Just give us a second. We have medics on scene. We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor.
In Texas, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the woman killed had it coming.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
Almost none of that was true. It was not an act of domestic terrorism. ICE was not stuck in the snow. They were not attempting to push out their vehicle. The woman did not attack them and did not attempt to ram the agents with her vehicle. Here's the video at half speed. You can see the woman in the SUV perpendicular to traffic. She was reportedly there to film and record ICE, and she waves at the agents to go around her. Two agents get out of their gray truck and yell at the woman to get out of her vehicle. She goes in reverse and then turns her wheels to the right to drive away. A third ICE agent, who had been in the white SUV in front, draws his weapon and opens fire.
An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
Again, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
According to the U.S. Supreme Court in settled case law, law enforcement officers are only entitled to use lethal force when a suspect poses an imminent deadly threat to officers, witnesses, or themselves. In this case, legal experts say the first shot fired by the ICE officer in front of the SUV and through the front windshield could be considered reasonable. According to multiple reports, though, and photographs, that shot was angled away from the driver's headrest and missed the driver. The ICE officer fired his second and third shots along the driver's side window at the woman's face as she was pulling away. At that point, no ICE agents were in her path. Legal experts say those two shots are indefensible. The ICE agent who opened fire was not being physically threatened. He was just angry. And feeling emotionally threatened or angry is not a defense in any U.S. state for using lethal force. Hours later, even after the video had been viewed by DHS officials, including Secretary Kristi Noem, Noem doubled down on her claims and dismissed the response of the Minneapolis mayor.
You know, Mayor Frey called the claims of self-defense BS. How do you respond to that?
I say that he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers.
But again, the video flatly contradicts Noem's assertions. As Joe Scarborough wrote on X, the video eviscerates Noem's false claims. She should be fired. Of course, Kristi Noem is not the only Trump administration official who has lied about all of this. Noem's DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin issued a statement describing the woman killed as one of these violent rioters who weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism. Donald Trump wrote, the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. These lies from Trump and his team are madness. If our leaders had any shame, even a shred, they would have said something like, there was an incident in Minnesota involving a woman and ICE agents. We are conducting a full investigation, and we will not have any comment until it is complete. But this Trump team is beyond despicable. They settled on a story, a false story, and are unwilling to acknowledge reality or responsibility. The woman who was shot in the face and murdered has now been identified.
Minneapolis Star-Tribune identifying her as Renee Nicole Good, 37 years old, according to multiple U.S. Officials and lawmakers, that she was a U.S. citizen. And local officials here saying they think this is important, that she was absolutely not the target of ICE operations here in the area.
Renee Nicole Good, a mother of three, dead at the age of 37. Witnesses to her death included people from across the political spectrum.
Around 8:30 this morning, I was just getting up and I heard a bunch of commotion and whistling outside, and then I heard bang, 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 3 shots. I'm pretty right-leaning, but seeing this is not what you need to do. This is not how to do it. It's not how we're supposed to do things around here in America.
It is not how we are supposed to do things in America. Indeed. Remember the name, Renee Nicole Good. Also remember those who lied about her, including Donald Trump and Kristi Noem. Sooner or later, there will be accountability. By the way, one of the Trump administration's staunchest defenders in the U.S. House, lawmaker Jim Jordan of Ohio, recently got busted to his face for lying about Venezuela's role in drug trafficking.
What fentanyl and other drugs have done to some families that I get the privilege of representing, helping deal with that, I think is a good thing. And Americans recognize this for decisive action that makes a difference for us and, frankly, for Venezuelans.
Right. You know, fentanyl doesn't come from Venezuela. And there's definitely...
Posing up to China and Iran, which are part of that, certainly does.
Fentanyl also doesn't come from China and Iran. Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Donna wrote, old Jordan is just as corrupt as his boss. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, and officials at the Department of Homeland Security lying about Renee Nicole Good, the woman in Minnesota shot and killed by ICE. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.